You can easily make Comfrey Infused apple cider vinegar for your face. Now, I've been making Comfrey Infused vinegar for years the old-fashioned way, which took 2 to 6 weeks. I now make my Comfrey Infused vinegar in one day with the magical butter machine. I'm ready to make some herb-infused vinegar with the magical butter machine. Now, normally I would chop up my herbs, put my vinegar in it, give them a good shake, let it set 6 to 8 weeks. But I'm going to do this in one day with the magical butter machine. Now, I'm starting out with Comfrey. I went ahead and cut it. I put it in a sink full of cold water, sloshed it up and down, kind of drained it on a cookie rack, let the water out, turned it a few times, and now I've let it set for 2 or 3 hours just to kind of dry wilt it. But I'm going to give these a rough chop. Now, normally when you do it like in a canning jar, the old method, you would chop it up as fine as you can. But for this magical butter machine, because it chops it as it processes it, I just want to do a rough chop. When using the magical butter machine, you've got to keep in mind that it has a maximum limit of 5 cups. So I'm going to measure up my comfrey leaves that I chopped up here. And then I'm going to fill it up with vinegar. Now, if I were doing it the old method, I would probably use the vinegar with the mother in it. But since this is going to be cooked at 130 degrees, there's really no sense in doing this. And this is for topical reasons and not to be taken internally. So I'm just going to use my store-bought vinegar. And just give that, fill it up to about the 4-cup line. Okay. We'll just kind of stir that up a little bit. Now it's just as simple as pouring it into my machine, putting the lid on, plugging it in. I'm going to set my temperature for 130, and I'm going to set this for 8 hours. And then I will come back in 8 hours and we will strain it. Okay, I let this process for 8 hours, but by then I didn't want to mess with it, so I just let this set overnight. So now I am ready to strain it and put it up. Now, in the past, I always used just a canning funnel, a reusable coffee filter, and a canning jar. But I have found when I'm using this magical butter machine, because it really chops things up so fine, that doesn't work real well. So I decided to invest in the magical butter filter press. So let's see how this works. Okay, this screws on to just, you can put it on a wide mouth canning jar or a regular mouth canning jar. They have a stainless steel filter. You lock it in. Your stainless steel is really important when you're using vinegar. And it's just a matter of pouring it in. Okay, let me take this out and let's start pouring. And if you've processed herbs before, you can kind of see how much more, it's almost a paste. It's so much different than what I'm used to. And then it comes with this handy little plunger to kind of get it through there a little better. Okay, now that I've got my comfrey vinegar strained, I'm ready to put it in a jar. Could just leave it in the jar, either put a plastic lid on it. If I went with the regular rings and lids, I would put a piece of wax paper in between because the vinegar would corrode metal. But I used to be a beekeeper, until my husband became allergic to bees. So now I've got all these little honey bottles. So I'm just going to put my vinegar into one of these honey jars. Well, like I said, you can put it in your quart jar, put it in a honey bottle, put it in a water bottle, or just any pretty container you might have. You might be asking, why the heck do I want comfrey vinegar? Well, I will show you. Okay, now you don't use the apple cider vinegar straight, you mix it with water. And there are many ratios of mixing apple cider vinegar with water. I started out using 1/4 cup of Comfrey Infused apple cider vinegar to 2 cups of water. I now use a 50-50 ratio, and this does not need to be refrigerated. Start by saturating a cotton ball with Comfrey Infused vinegar and apply it to the face after you've washed it. Many times I just splash it on my face. Apply your moisturizer. I always use my Magic Waters Comfrey Lotion. Now, although apple cider vinegar may work on its own, I add the additional benefits of comfrey. Comfrey is a well-known herb that contains allotonin, and many herbalists believe with continuous use, comfrey regenerates aging skin. Apple cider vinegar restores the natural pH of the skin of 5.5. Alkaline skin causes dry, flaky skin. Apple cider vinegar is used to remove the remaining traces of soap, oil, and perspiration. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, and share. We are a small family farm and we need your support to continue to make these videos and share natural healing remedies. Visit me at FamilyGuideToHerbs.com. Now my channel name on YouTube is Carolyn Gibson Herbalist.